All right, so Achyut, you have two classmates today. From now onwards, every week on Sunday, your classmates will join along with you. One is Aditya. Aditya is my nephew. He's in Bangalore and he's in the eighth grade. And another one is Tanvi. Tanvi is in Chennai. She is in the fifth grade. So they are into the weekend classes. They attend in a separate time on Saturday. And on Sundays, when you are joining, I have made sure that they both are associating with you so that they can learn some presentation skills, you being the senior person. So Aditya and Tanvi, this is Achyut. Achyut is in America and he's doing his 11th grade. So,
Okay. Hi, Tanvi. Hi, Aditya.
Hi, Anna. Hi.
so Achyut, what presentation do you have today?
It's just pretty simple one. Like since it's a new year, like I'm just gonna talk about some of the major things that are gonna happen in astronomy, like that, like NASA and other stuff. They're building some missions for us, and
Okay.
it'll have some visual aid though. Like it's gonna be a largely oral based, so like I'm gonna explain it through it, but like there'll be some images to follow through it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Right. So I have enabled the screen sharing for you. So in case if you're displaying some images, you can display them. Okay, Aditya and Tanvi, listen to Achyut's presentation. And after that, if you have got any questions, you can ask him. Or I will ask you both, that is Aditya and Tanvi, as what you have gathered from the presentation. So you have to keenly observe to answer my questions at the end of Achyut's presentation. Yes, Achyut, you can start now. We are able to see your screen.
Okay, so like space missions 2023, that's like the presentations about basically talk about the new space missions that are coming in this year. Like there's lots of missions that are coming in from now everywhere as more countries are getting into the space industry. Like India is planning on sending its people to the moon by 2030 or something. Already China and Russia already planned it, in USA, which we're actually going to explain a little bit in this presentation, is going to send one by 2025, and like they're already preparing it for it this year. So like there's a lot of stuff happening in space too overall. So like we are so yeah, let's just talk. There's some missions that are coming this year here specifically that will help us do it. So first of all, the first mission is JUICE, which stands for I haven't noted down here. Here it's Jupiter I Ice Emission. It's kind of like that. So like it's basically like a mission by the European Space Agency, which is basically the European Union's thing. It's not the America or anyone. It's Europe. It's the European Space Agency's mission to Jupiter, and it's going to specifically focus on its moons. So like Jupiter has a lot of interesting moons as well, along with the planet it is right now. This would only be like I believe, the fourth mission that ever went to Jupiter. The first two were Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, which was back in the 1970s, which gave us the clear view of Jupiter. And then the third one is not launched by NASA, which is called Juno, which explores Jupiter in general. And then this is the fourth one that's now, and this is Europe's first mission outside of like Mars or the moon, or more popular mission types like Jupiter and Saturn. They typically don't have like much missions going through to them, but like here, like you can see, that's the thing. Like Jupiter basically is a very hard to reach planet. However, Juice will reach it in like 4 years. So like 2023 is its expected launch in April, in around April. And then like in 2026, it's expected to be in Jupiter. And like it's not gonna focus too much on Jupiter. It's gonna focus on its moon. So like the four moons of Jupiter Ganymede, Callisto, Io, and Europa. Those are 4 major moons. It's gonna explore all of them, and there's some pretty unique properties of each of these moons. Like for example, Io has lots of volcanic eruptions and like it's very active. It's almost more active than Venus, which we typically associate with volcanic activity in terms of like planets. Like Io has a lot more. It has like over 400 known volcanoes already, and like we only saw it from a distance. So like that is a very interesting thing. And Europa is like one moon which we think there could be life as there's signs of water on it. So like that's another thing, especially if we want a future human inhabitants, then like we can inhabit that moon. It's just cold, but like there could be some life. We haven't discovered it yet, but like it could potentially suit some life in it. So like okay, so like Juice is basically gonna do that, and then afterwards it's gonna orbit around the largest moon at the end. So rather than orbit Jupiter and like go around, that's what Juno is currently doing. It typically does that before the mission's over. It's gonna orbit over Ganymede, which is the largest moon. It's bigger than the planet Mercury. Erie, and it's the largest moon in the solar system. So like it's gonna be the first time an object orbits around some other moon. Like it's not the other than Earth's moon. So like it's gonna be in Jupiter's moon. So like that's like the interesting thing. And like we can see a lot more measurements overall of Jupiter's interesting moons, which we knew them since the 1500s with Galileo discovered these moons back then. Like these were like the moons that helped Galileo this like they used to think like the earth was the center and the sun revolves around the earth, and like these moons destroyed that thing because like if there's moons around orbiting Jupiter, which was at the time theoretically orbiting the earth, and like everything, and like the consensus was everything has to orbit the earth. So like that's like, and like that like since these moons were orbiting Jupiter, which is not means it's not orbiting Earth, then like it proved the hypothesis false, and Galileo ultimately uh, he was proven to help this theory become true that the sun is at the center and the Earth is a planet. So like that's like the thing. And like the second mission, Artemis. So like this is a NASA mission, and like this although it's not the main focus, won't be achieved till like 2025. That's when Artemis 3 will launch. This is which will like give like send people to the moon, like send them and literally land them on the moon. This will be the first time since like over 50 years that people have landed on the moon because of this. However, this is not like it's not gonna happen this year though. Like there are strides being happening. It's like they're building the rocket right now in 2023 to help, but they already launched a mission last year, Artemis 1, to revolve around the moon and like collect data and stuff. And that's already the first one, which was a success. And in the second one, and is set to launch early 2024, though like they're announcing the astronauts that will board it this year, and like possibly even the next mission, which is Artemis 3, which will actually land the people on the moon. That will also, the astronauts for that will also be announced, and like they're making major strides this year in 2023 in order to get this mission on board. And like they're working on it right now very big, and like this would be significant as like Earth's right now is having a depletion, like with all the resources and stuff, and like there's lots, like moon is said to have lots of resources, and like there many people want control over it. Many countries, including the US, Russia, China, even India, Japan, and Europe are all trying to get it into it. And like there's gonna be some competition. So like with the US trying going to say going to the moon first right now, like manned mission to the moon first, like they're trying to assert the dominance, and they're probably even gonna try building like a community near the moon, like in by the 2030s or something. And that's when like Russia and China are gonna launch their own manned missions to the moon, and possibly India as well. So like it's gonna be lots of competition there, and the US is definitely trying to gain advantage of it, and like they're trying to go leapfrog and like that. And it will be interesting as a potential habitation of the moon could be a leapfrog for like habitation on Mars, which is a very commonly used thought about topic. Like lots of people want to do that. In the US is all like everyone knows in the astronomy world, like if you want to like go into Mars, you have to like learn how to survive in space first, and like the moon is showing trying to be like the test of that, like the test of surviving in space. So like that will be another indication with this mission. So like it could potentially have future implications on Mars mission. So and the final mission is Psyche, and this will be launched in October. That's like the estimated time. As like the space missions are calculated. It's not like they're not like you can't like schedule it whenever you want. Like you have to like every planet is going in a trajectory, like in a specific trajectory and orbit or like something, and like you have to account for that, and like you have to adjust for the space mission. And like a very common topic is and a very common thing like spacecrafts use to help them get the move faster, because like there's not enough energy. There's only a limited amount of energy before the energy runs out. The gas runs out of the of these things, and like there's solar panels on these which you can see, but like and wind, and there's even some wind turbines that will help, but like it will not be enough if especially if it goes farther away from the sun. So like that will be another thing. So like they typically, the biggest technique they use is typically called gravity assist. This, which is like basically like a spacecraft revolving around the a certain planet like Earth or Mars or any other major mass body, and like they'll just orbit it, and then like eventually they'll let go of the orbit, which will have they'll have lots of potential energy from that orbit, and like it will all be suddenly moved if they sudden what it will all be suddenly converted into energy of movement, kinetic energy, when you release it. So like that's like the thing that's gravity assist there, and it will just orbit around, and then eventually it will live, and like it will give the boost of energy. So like a Psyche mission, this will use a gravity assist of Mars basically, and then it will reach an asteroid named Psyche, and like the 14th, and like it was one of the missions NASA narrowed down. Like there was a list of 16 missions back in 2017 they had to choose from. They narrowed it down to two. One of them is Psyche. So like Psyche is gonna basic, and Psyche, the original intent was kind of like, because Psyche they thought was like like a protoplanet, reading like a planet that was before Earth, and like stuff like that was like before it was an ancient planet, like before, like it was had a, like a core, and like a core, every planet has like a crust mantle and core, like Earth has one right now, and like the core is typically filled with like it molten lava like stuff, and like all the solid, and it's typically solid due to the immense pressure of it, of the molten lava. It will become solid iron like in our Earth's core. But like and they thought many scientists thought that Psyche, the asteroid, actually was a part of that core, like it was a protoplanet core, or it was a piece of that core. And like if you explore it and like analyze the data, like it will give like a lot of like interesting finds, and like how like a protoplanets existed, and like what type of cores elements are in the core. However, like later this hypothesis has been like eventually evidence was showing against this, as like it doesn't have like the mass and density that it would, that a normal object from a core would have. So like Psyche, the original intent has been like removed, and like it's kind of now like just it's just exploring another asteroid, but it's still a really interesting, going to be an interesting asteroid, as like it will as Psyche is like an metallic asteroids, and like it could lead to like space show how much space mining could work, as if we find gold or something, like many people will like, because Earth only has a finite number of gold and stuff, like many people eventually needs to go to topics like space mining and like finding golds in asteroids and stuff. So like this mission could help out in that regard. And like that should be it basically. So like 2023 will bring lots of stuff for for like the space exploration and stuff, and like it will be a really interesting year when it comes to this.
You done with it, Ashit?
Yes, shorter presentation today.
Okay. All right. So Aditya and Tanvi, do you have any questions to Achyut? First, before you both ask some questions, I would like to ask a couple of questions to Achyut here. Like, Achyut, what is the use of launch of all these satellites? Like, in the beginning of the presentation, you mentioned that, you know, um, in the beginning of the year, people get excited, like exclusively, NASA gets excited in terms of sending all these satellites. What is a major use of sending these satellites every year? And how does it help for all of us?
Satellites can provide like numerous benefits, like in terms of like everything, in terms of like science or geopolitics, or like just like some pride for the country. Like if you send a spacecraft to the moon and like you land on the moon first or land on Mars first, that will be a little pride for you a little bit. So like there's a lot of reasons here. Like the original intent was like to for defensive purposes, for military purposes. That's how like space kind of began in the Cold War. Like all this tension between the US and the Soviet Union. They were clashing during this time. And like that was like and like defensively, like they had to go outside the box. So like they're building nuclear weapons and like all that stuff. They were building these crazy new technologies, and like that's how spacecraft kind of came. Like it was there's ideas of rocketry from like the 1930s, but like it really didn't go into effect till the 1950s. And like so Soviet Union knowing like America is kind of having the better economy, needed some type of way to get some pride, as well as show like they're scientifically good. So they launched the first spacecraft called Sputnik 1, and then like America followed. And it was like this war in space. Like they thought space would be ultimately like a new fighting and like they can get, and like whoever controls it more will probably have more advantage in the earth. And like the US even in the 1980s tried to make a space defense force. They called it Star Wars, and like that's like kind of the thing. So like originally it was early, and like it can help them bolster military. And like later today, like the US actually established the Space Force.
Okay.
Course, like it's like in 2020, only 2 or 3 years back, they started this Space Force and they established it. And like that's like it can be used for militarily, and like with like more and like with the you need for more resources on Earth, like many of these asteroids in space are rich in resources, like I talked about in Psych, like mission there, the Psych asteroid could lead have gold and stuff that could help, that could potentially open up a new market for mining and like resources. And like if overall, if you control the moon and like that, then like whoever controls the moon will also have lots of resources as well, and like that will, and like it's gonna lead to competition both
Okay.
militarily and economically, so like both of them. So like lots of factors are in play here, but like if you control space, it has little pride, and like you can also eat now, you can economically and militarily benefit from it overall.
Right. Right. Great. Nice answer. Now, Aditya, can you just give me a crux of the learning that you had from Achyut's presentation? What's your observation and what have you actually learned from the presentation today?
I learned that there are many countries like before they used to fight for space on Earth, like they want to expand their territory north, south, east, west.
Hmm.
But now they're trying to expand their territory out of the Earth as well, space. And almost each country has already started the missions
That's
and
right.
setting up machines.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be kind of a competition for people who own land on the moon and
Mm.
etc.
All right. So Achyut displayed the variants, like right from starting with Jews till Psych. Which one do you think is more dynamic as per the explanation that he has given? Which satellite do you think, the proposed satellite which are going to be launched in 2023, which one you really like and which do you think is the most dynamic one, in your opinion?
Um, I would
Okay.
say Artemis
Why do you think so? What's the reason?
because to me I found that interesting that there are moons around Jupiter, which I don't know,
Right.
and I think India is not going for the planets; they're going for other moons, other sp- like planets around Jupiter, like the different
Okay.
moons he explained.
Well, that's a smart observation. Nice answer. Tanvi, this is the first time you are seeing Achyut's presentation, and it is Achyut always does science-oriented presentations. So, what's your observation about the presentation? Just like Aditya mentioned now, what's your understanding?
Sir, I know that they are launching some new space missions, sir.
Space missions. Okay, right. Which one do you like, Tanvi? Uh, Aditya mentioned his choice, and out of the list of satellites, spaceships that Achyut has explained, which one do you like, or which one do you think is more powerful? Is it the Jews, or is it the Artemis, or is it the Psyche? Which one? Okay, relax, relax. So, Tanvi and Aditya, do you have any questions to be asked to Achyut so that he can answer?
No.
Okay, all right. So, I want Achyut's presentation to be taken as a model, and every Sunday when we are meeting in this 6:30 p.m. class, I want Tanvi and Aditya to make a presentation like what Achyut has mentioned. Because Achyut joined in the month of June last year, and it's been almost about 8 to 9 months since he has joined class sessions, and he has progressed really well. So that is the very reason why I have made you both attend his class today. There are other two people, Achyut. One is Daniel, and another one is Angeline. They both are brother and sister.
Oh,
They join only for Saturday's class, and they don't join the Sunday's class. So from henceforth, you will have these two classmates along.
okay.
Okay, right. Allow me to share something for you three because I need to really teach something to you. Yes, of course, we spent almost about 20-22 minutes with Achyut speaking about science background topic, and I would like to speak about a personality topic. And I have made a chart of plans for giving presentation every day whenever we meet. So I would like to show you a graphic, and I want you to have a proper uh, view about the graphic. Yeah, this is the graphic I want you to see. Observe. We will be speaking about this graphic. Well, this graphic is extracted from a management book, and it has got a lot of information, uh, ensured in this one graphic. Like, I want you to specifically see the left hand side. There are three things: choice, principles, and intelligences. And I want you to see the other graphics. Like, yeah, look into the first angle, whole person, and we have got a circle, and we have got another circle. But I want you to have a good look at the four locations. Once again, let me pick up the spotlight. I wanted to first of all have a good look at this particular thing, that is the four outlines of the graphic. One is this one, the inside out, and another one is this one, the greatness. Another one is this one, the mediocrity, and another one is this one, the outside in approach. You see, basically, this diagram explains a pretty important dimension to make it very, very simpler so that everybody can understand. One person, let's say, for example, if it is Achyut Venkat, he has got two different individuals inside himself. One is the whole person, and another one is the fragmented person. Okay, when Achyut is trying to be a whole person in his school and in his family, in order to prove his worth to the people as a whole person, that is going to be only possible only when Achyut is using his creative force. He has to use his brain, he has to use his intellect, he has to use his creative thinking, and he has to use all the other kinds of mental faculty to make people understand that he is a very, very holistic person. By virtue of using this creative force, Achyut makes the other people understand that he has got a very good vision, he has got a good passion, he has got a good discipline, and he basically is a good conscience boy. And also, when Achyut shows himself as a creative person, shows himself as a holistic person, what happens is Aditya and Tanvi, when they're observing Achyut, they will see that he is a good pathfinding person. And for both of them, Achyut will appear as a very good model. So this is called the path of the greatness. You see, as you can see, the greatness here. This is the path of greatness. That is, you have to use your vision, you have to use your creative thinking capacity, you have to basically use your mental faculty in order to achieve the greatness. Also, in order to make the other people find that you are a holistic person. In a way, this entire session that you're attending every week is for this particular thing. That is, it is a clear venture for making you as a whole person. Now, let me take down to this particular section, the fragmented person. The fragmented person. What's the difference between the whole person and the fragmented person? Let's take, for example, Aditya. Aditya wants to become a class leader in his school, in his classroom. But somehow Aditya is feeling little reluctant. Tanvi wants to head a group of community in the classroom. But somehow Tanvi is feeling little pulled down. Why is she pulled down? She's not able to, or Aditya is not able to show the holistic person, but they are showing the fragmented person. Now, I want you to have a good look at this. Fragmented person is also called as a victim. Victim of what? Victim of circumstances. Victim of other people's programming. Look at the crazy expression over here. It is called as the cultural software. Cultural software. That is, somebody has designed Aditya. Somebody else has designed Tanvi. Okay. In one corner, Achyut Venkat is as a whole person. In another corner, both Tanvi and Aditya are fragmented person. Achyut says, guys, you got to be like me. Yeah, initially it was a difficult aspect for me, but I want you to come to my regard. But Aditya says, no, 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 no. I don't want to come to your section because the other people will find fault. The other people will victimize me. Look at the circle. You don't want to get into the holistic person because you are a victimized person always. And you are a social mirror. That is, what do you mean by social mirror? What Mr. X is doing, I would like to do the same. I don't want to be different. I don't want to be different. What he is doing, I will copy him. I will ape him. And look at this, indulgence. Indulgence means somebody from your friend circle coming and saying that this is how you have to behave. Okay? Don't think you can all be different. You should be falling under our kind of a nutshell and you should go along with this. This is called as indulgence. So when a person is indulged and when a person is behaving as a social mirror, the person remains as a fragmented person. And I want you to have a good look at this particular picture also. No shared vision, no shared values, disempowerment, and misalignment. Above all that, this fragmented person will be of very, very low trust. So it's always a quick fix solution, and the fragmented person is put into a jail. They won't speak on an open basis. They won't speak with enthusiasm. They will always be like an introvert, and they will definitely not have any sort of expressions to be made to the other people. So my questions, by looking into this window, I want you to take some 2 minutes because we are going to shift ourselves to a new window because this window is going to be elapsed. We are going to shift ourselves to a new window and we are going to have a discussion. Again, I'll show the picture in the new window. I want you to have a good look at this particular picture. And I want all the three of your solutions to convert a fragmented person into a whole person. How can a fragmented person be a holistic person? Look at the left-hand corner. Choice, principles, the four intelligences. Okay. So what are all the four intelligences? What do you mean by four intelligences? We understand that there are three things, tools to be taken: choice, principles, and what are all the four intelligences? The four intelligences are the intelligence you get by speaking, the intelligence you get by listening, the intelligence you get by thinking, and the intelligence you get by believing. So these are the four intelligences. Principles are something that the other people teach us, the other people provide us, and choice is our own choices that we make. So I have now explained this particular graphic. So I would like to take your attention towards this. There is something called as find your voice here, and there is another thing called as lose your voice. A fragmented person will always lose his voice, but a whole person will always find the voice from within, and the person will try to operate in his or her. And my question is, I got two questions to Achyut, Aditya, and Tanvi. How can a fragmented person who is victim can convert himself or herself into a holistic person? So I wanted to think about that, and we will straight away get into a new window. Do you have any questions before we close this window? All the three of you?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. I want you to leave this window and please join the new window for our discussion.